Hello everyone, welcome back to the show. My name's Callum Beaumont, the host of Maritime SoftwareHub, and I'm really delighted to have my guest today, Michele Sancricca, who's going to walk through and talk us about the EB electronic bills of lading and how it's impacting the world of ship owners and charterers. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Michele. If you don't mind perhaps giving you a quick overview of who you are and what you've been up to, that'd be fantastic.
Absolutely. And Callum, thank you for the opportunity of being here today with you and with your audience. And thank you everyone for listening to us. So this is Michele Sancricca. I'm sitting in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. As my accent tells, I'm not originally from here. I'm originally Italian. I moved to the States 10 years ago. And I previously served as a naval officer in the Italian Navy for 12 years. And then I worked for MSC, the ocean carrier that you most likely know already.
Yeah.
And then for Amazon Web Services, and since 2022, co-founder and CEO of Secro.
Yeah, no, really interesting journey. And obviously similar, we come from Europe now, we're in the States and things. So how have you've obviously made this your home. How have you found the transition kind of moving from Europe to the US?
Oh well, I mean, now the US are home. I'm citizen, and my family is American, and I think you have many great things in the US. I definitely miss Italian food sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
But you still have Europe for vacations, and we have many customers there, so I have many opportunities to visit.
Very good. Yeah, no, we're the same actually. I mean, we've only been here since October, so sort of 4 or 5 months, and it's been fantastic learning more about the different kind of players that are involved in the maritime technology space in the US, and obviously the ship owners and charters themselves. So it's been a good journey for us so far. So yeah, I would love it if you could perhaps, if you don't mind, giving an overview of Secro and the platform and the type of kind of markets you cover. That'd be great.
Absolutely. So Secro starts as an electronic bill of lading provider that now is expanding into also other digital documents that are gravitating around the flow of bill of lading. So our goal is to provide, in the case of ship owners, a platform where multiple documents can be digitized. Clearly, the focus is on electronic bill of lading, which we believe is the future. But we also offer other documents like smart bill of ladings, which are a partially digitized version of the electronic bill of lading. The ideal entry level, we believe, for maybe companies that are not fully embracing digitization yet into the space of electronic bill of lading. And we provide the end-to-end digitization in most cases, starting from logistic service providers like ship owners, the airport agents, into the charterers, and up to the banks, because we all know that electronic bill of lading is not only a logistic document, it's also an essential document for trade finance. So we work very closely with the largest trade finance banks in the world in the space of electronic bill of lading.
Yeah, I imagine the whole. Did you get exposure to the freight forwarding side as well? I'm sure the whole cycle of the supply chain, you must have a touch point in, and have I guess you've built a big network in that sector as well, I'm sure.
We do in the specific case of house bill of ladings, which are increasingly getting digitized, and they're kind of a little bit disentangled from maybe the technology and the commercial strings attached that are coming with the large liners and carriers, right? So freight forwarders are definitely more free to choose the electronic bill of lading or digital bill of lading of choice, and we provide flexible solutions for them as well.
Interesting. Okay, and I guess obviously your time with MSC and the other businesses you mentioned, what was it that inspired you to found and start up the business?
Well, a great thing about MSC is that even if you are hired in a managerial position, you start covering clerical functions. So you really start from the basics to learn the business, and this speaks very highly of the company. So I spent several months in the export documentation department, where I had the privilege and honor to learn from scratch the art of paper bill of lading, including leaking envelopes at 2 a.m. in the morning that they were sent overnight everywhere in the world. And the massive amount of manual work and paper involved in the process really stay with me forever, even when I was at Amazon, and I always saw this as a big opportunity for innovation. Clearly, we all know that electronic billing has been around for 20 years as a concept, and was already there when 10 years ago I was sending envelopes with FedEx, right? Uh, but now, and that's a big difference, we have the legal framework to transition from this manual paper-based flow into a fully digital flow because the law changed in key countries like UK and Singapore, which jurisdictions are covering majority of bill of ladings that are used globally. So definitely the experience at MSC shaped me in terms of understanding the pain. The experience at Amazon and AWS shaped me in terms of understanding how to use the best technology at scale. Learning from what we do every day with our phone application. You can why on Sunday morning you can order anything you want on the phone and get shipped to you the day after, and
Yeah.
then Monday you go to the office and you still have to use paper. That's really something that is very difficult to explain.
Yeah, it's crazy, and it's two really good examples of fantastic kind of companies and parts of the shipping cycle that you've worked in. So, are there any kind of particular things perhaps that you kind of learned or absorbed from your time at Amazon that you've obviously tried to implement into Secro?
uh, I think that practically speaking, is the ability to use cloud computing.
Okay.
So maybe I don't want to get too technical, but how can you build in a relatively fast way a very robust, super secure piece of software that can scale very quickly everywhere in the world? Maybe we give this for granted, but behind it there is a lot of technology, and I learned from the Amazon experience how to do this and how to deliver to our clients, our Secro clients today, the same level of security and scalability and robustness that is needed by big companies, because you don't want to adopt a piece of software that runs one of your most critical flows without having the certainty that it's going to be very secure, very compliant with the most demanding regulations, and allowing your employees to access everywhere they are in the world without too much latency and delays and risk.
Okay, awesome. Good. All right, thank you. So, I guess, I mean, as you probably are aware and you touched upon, the shipping industry as a whole has been relatively slow to adopt technology and digitalization compared to other industries and things. So, I mean, we've been working now recruiting in the maritime tech space, I would say, since 2015, me personally. And there's been a huge kind of growth, I would say, throughout that period. And what do you think has been driving kind of the recent adoption in either the e-bill of lading kind of side or just the whole kind of digitalization in shipping?
So first of all, you're right. You're very right saying that the industry is definitely slow in embracing certain changes and certain technologies. The follow-up question is why? Right? Why? Because of the nature of the business, which is predominantly asset-based. So big investments and big revenue are coming from assets, not from technology historically. And because of generations and the way corporate governance works in the industry, it's predominantly a founder-owned type of business or a legacy type of business with following generations. So I think that what is changing now is, first of all, yes, assets are making money, but the realization that technology can exponentially increase the productivity of assets and people is getting more acceptance in the industry from decision makers. So there is more willingness to spend money and time on embracing technology. And also there is a generational change. So you have the younger kids like me, like my age, like not very young, but let's say younger than the first generation taking over. And this clearly opens the door to a different mindset. You would be surprised to see how, for instance, one of our first customers, and I can freely state this, is Ochfil, which
Yeah.
is one of the most respected and oldest shipping company in Norway. They have been so enlightened and so fast in embracing our technology at global scale, you have no idea. And this speaks so highly of the company, but also of the fact that the industry is changing, even at its core, even at the core of the family-owned and most traditional and well-respected companies in the space.
Okay, no, fantastic. And what would you say when you're talking to the different ship owners and charterers? What are you highlighting as perhaps the key benefits of going over to a digital kind of bill of lading and digitalizing their sort of workflow? I'm sure there's lots, but anything in particular that kind of stands out to you?
Yes, okay, so let's start from the pushback, right? So when we sit with the ship owners, they always say, I don't really care about pay-per-view lending because it's not a cost to me. I don't care.
Mm. Okay.
And the charters, they usually they say the same. They say, I don't pay for it, so I don't care. And that's the big mistake and misconception, because there is a huge cost for paper and paper bill of lading that is sunk into the operational cost of charters and ship owners. It's just sunk. They don't see it. And the same applies to banks. It's a sunk cost. And it's a sunk cost that comes down to risk, delays. It is not about the headcounts. The headcounts is not the point. The point is the risk. Let's make an example with the ship owners. They take liability and they have to accept a letter of indemnities. In many cases, especially for charter party bill of ladings. And they need to live with this Damocles sword on their head. If something goes wrong with the delivery, they can be sued, and they can also lose the claim, and can be a significant damage for them.
Yeah.
The same applies for charters. They have delays. They have maybe days between the moment they deliver the original bill of lading to the bank, and is the moment where the bank starts to consider their loan as secured, and this impacts dramatically the cost of the financing. But they don't know that, because the bank gives to the charters a blended rate, and they put together the cost of financing without any differentiation between the moment they don't have the bill of lading and the moment they have the bill of lading, but the internal cost of the bank is different. So there is a lot of education that you need to make with the banks, with the charters and the ship owners, to really explain what is the sunk cost of paper bill of lading, which again is not the couriering. The couriering or the headcount is just a little component of it.
Okay.
It's a financial cost, is a reputational cost, is a risk cost. And if you allow me, I would like to make an example. Recently, a very large European bank lost a claim against a ship owner because of cargo misdelivery. So the bank was holding the paper bill of lading, and they felt safe, but the ship owner delivered the cargo against a letter of indemnity, and the bank and then the consignee defaulted and never paid back the bank. So the bank sues the ship owner, and the bank lose the claim. Why? Because the judge said, hey, you always do this every day, so this time went wrong, but you have no right to sue the ship owner, because it's what you do every day. Your internal procedures are faulty.
Okay.
And the bank incurred $26 million worth of losses, and they closed their main trade finance office in Geneva. I'm not mentioning name, but this is very well known. It's out in the press, right? This is the cost of paper bill of lading: $26 million, and a part of the business shut down.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Interesting. And I guess also, because in terms of demurrage and lay time claims and calculations, does that play a big part as well? Having that electronic kind of certificate and contract in place, does that factor into those calculations?
That's a fantastic use case. Let me tell you a story. So I was having lunch with one customer in Geneva 2 months ago, a very large metal trader. And during lunch, our customer has to leave the restaurant and get on a call. Then he comes back after 1 hour, and he told us, we have a full vessel stuck in China, costing us $50,000 of demurrage every day, and we cannot discharge because the paper bill of lading is lost somewhere. And we don't know if it's lost for real, or if there is a collusion between the ship owner and the consignee to hide this document and make up money on us. So he said, if we already had your system implemented, this wouldn't be the case, because we will know where the electronic bill of lading is, most likely in our possession, and we will know exactly when the electronic bill of lading is surrendered to the ship owner. So yes, that the accrual of demurrage is a typical example of problem that can be solved by electronic bill of lading.
Great. Okay, I thought so. Good. And I probably should have asked this at the very beginning. Can you, just in case we have some listeners that probably are not so familiar with the bill of lading and what it is, do you mind just giving a quick overview of what the document entails and what's enclosed in it?
Of course. Paper bill of lading is a concept that has been around for 5,000 years, if not more. Right? So you still have some example of Babylonians and Sumerian bubble of clay that were used by the captains of vessels in those times, 5,000 years ago, putting tokens of clay inside this bubble that then was dried, and getting to destination, they were breaking this bubble, and they were disclosing how many tokens they were inside this bubble, representing how many, for instance, barrels of oil that were on the vessel, or cases of whatever it was. Right? That was the first example, with all the seals of the shipper, the company. Very interesting. You still see some online, also at museums. And then you have the paper bill of lading, which is well known. It's the same since the Middle Ages. Basically, the document is issued at port of load, either by the port agent on behalf of the master, or by the master himself, is possible. And then this document here, usually in 3 originals or more, is used for logistic purposes, for custom clearance, but also by the banks to finance the actual transaction.
Okay.
And all these flows are happening in a parallel way, with multiple originals, and sometimes, most of the times, in many cases, the vessel arrives at destination before the actual original gets to destination, and the original is needed because the master wouldn't discharge against a paper bill of lading or against a letter of indemnity, which poses a lot of risk, as we made the example before. So the bill of lading is really the bottleneck.
Okay.
And how electronic bill of lading solves for it is a document that can be generated anywhere in the world. So on the vessel, by the port of load agent, or by the quarter of the ship owner. And in our solutions, for instance, we enable a very interesting and useful approval flow, where even the headquarter of the ship owner can approve the bill of lading. Even the head owner can approve the bill of lading. Is a very flexible flow that enable even the traditionally very adverse to digitization Japanese ship owners to use Secro, for instance. And we enable the real-time transmission of the electronic bill of lading original from anywhere in the world to anywhere in the world. And the key point is to do this in a way that is fast, but also gives to this digital document the exact same legal rights than a piece of paper would have. And this is the real challenge, because you need to check a lot of boxes in terms of compliance to achieve the recognition as a reliable electronic bill of lading by ship owners, IGP&I, which are the insurance protection indemnity clubs, by the banks, and so on.
No. Okay, that pretty much covers most of my next question, which was going to be along the lines of how does the platform help the adoption across the different kind of players in the sort of trade cycle? And it sounds like you've pretty much just covered that. But is there anything else you'd like to add about that, about how the technology kind of brings everybody together?
I think through collaboration, because one part of the bill of lading cycle is and this is what matters the most to freight forwarders, agents, owners, and disponent owners, how to collaborate in a very seamless way in putting together the bill of lading draft, the shipping instructions, the mate receipt. These documents should be done digitally, and we offer a solution for this that is very appreciated by our ship owners clients, because we cut down time, errors, and we enable to really collect all the audit logs of all the actions in a confidential way, that in case of claims or disputes between charterers and ship owners are making this part much, much easier to taken care of. And then you have, after the signature of the bill of lading, the ability to issue this document, transfer it immediately, as I said, and even verify it, because at a certain point you might want to export from the platform a copy or even a paper original, and you still have the option to verify this document through QR code and a service of notarization that then allows the holder to check online on our servers if the document is a real document and it has been counterfeited or changed. So answering more directly your question, collaboration, trustworthiness, fraud resistance, and speed.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. And I guess going forward then, in terms of kind of projects you're working on, or maybe even sort of the direction you think is kind of the next phase of the development for Secro, is there anything in particular like that you think is going to be coming up in terms of technology developments in the space, or that you're keeping an eye on?
Yeah, so first of all, we are always increasing the level of security and the level of robustness of the platform because we want our customers to be able to comply through Secro with the most stringent regulations that you have out there. Thinking of, for all the Europeans that are listening to us, NIS2, which is the cyber risk management regulation that you have in the European Union. Very stringent, and Secro helps customers to comply with that. So now I'm talking to the IT people on the line listening to us. And very important, we are launching a very flexible way of digitizing customized flows. So we are aware that around electronic bill of lading there are many flows, like I mentioned, meta receipts, but you have also letter of indemnities, you have shipping instructions, and so on. So we are launching on our platform a full suite of customized flows that we can digitize for our clients, especially for freight forwarders and ship owners and agents. You can really find through our platform a one-stop shop for all your digital needs and remove all these emails, all these or majority of all the emails and the offline flows that today are maybe difficult to monitor and difficult to contain and to really regulate in your environment and in your interaction with your clients.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well, I think now, if you don't mind, I'll perhaps move on to go a little bit more into detail about yourself, like your background and the roles you've been in. Before we do so, is there anything else you'd like to add regarding the platform or the topic for today?
Well, maybe I can mention how we build this platform, right? So
Sure.
the entire team of Secro is coming from the industry. So this platform has been built by people with deep maritime law experience, trading experience, cross-border logistic experience. So we really put simplicity, but at the same time a high level of sophistication into our platform. And the feedback we got from our clients is that they love the simplicity of the flows that we created. And
Okay.
now they really replicate what happens today in the physical world, yet in a digital form. So I would like to point out this.
Yeah, great. Good. Okay, so in terms of your role, I mean, you've had a number of obviously co-founder and CEO of Secro, sorry, and you obviously are a board advisor on another different sort of projects and things. So, would you mind just giving me an overview of perhaps some of the other projects you're working on, but also what's entail? What does the day to day look like when you are advising on these different projects? Like, how much of your time does it take, and what's typically involved?
Yeah, so clearly, Secro absorbs 150% of my time. So my advisory activities are done really on a spot basis, only where it matters, right? So what I do, I support boards and executives of logistic companies, predominantly freight forwarders, ship owners, on how to improve their productivity through the adoption of digital technologies, and more in general also strategy in terms of governance, business development. And it is something that I do with a lot of passion. It's really something that I love to do because it's great to see how amazing, solid businesses can reach even a higher productivity and deliver more value to their clients and to their employees and shareholders adopting technology, which also is what I was doing with Amazon. My last role with Amazon Web Services was global head of supply chain technology. And I was basically helping very large businesses, the like of large ports, large liners, or logistic operators, on how to adopt the latest technology like machine learning, cloud computing, robotic process automation to really improve their internal process, their interaction with clients, and the way they're optimizing their assets, right? Reduce the cost and increase the output of their assets. Ports, containers, vessels, trucks, warehouses.
Okay. And if let's say, for example, we were looking to get a board advisor or another company similar, what advice would you give to any maybe founders or senior team members that are trying to extract like the knowledge and insights from you? Like, is there something you like to see from them, or the typical type of questions they asked you to perhaps kind of make it most, I guess, yeah, the successful kind of collaboration?
Yeah, what I would say is that an advisor is like uh, should be seen as, yes, a container of know-how and experience, but also somebody that can be very unbiased in judging and in providing a different angle and a reality check, right? So I invite the boards or the executives that are seeking for advisory to really find a person that is able to challenge their beliefs, and maybe put them also on a hard spot, and ask tough questions, first, second, third, fourth degree type of questions, to really turn all the stones and start to work on maybe a different paradigm, maybe a different point of view, and build from there a better company. And this is what I think is where I help some international freight forwarders a lot, because I really stuck with them, and the founder was a first generation founder, still CEO of 4 different logistic companies under the same group, and we really sat together. It was amazing. Now we are friends, and he let me really challenge him and poke him his entire business model. And at the end, we found the way to improve dramatically their bottom line, gradually introducing some technologies to improve flows, gather data, understand where the problems were in this large business, and then find the right strategy at business and corporate level to improve, for instance, just to mention something, the ability to raise more efficiently capital from banks. And where this starts from implementing the right CRM, the right TMS system, gather the right data, have a better and more granular P&L, get in front of the banks with a better financial depth, and then from there getting better credit terms. And everything started from a very, I would say, granular and tactical turning every stone exercise.
Right. Okay. Very insightful. Thank you. Okay then, and I guess now your day-to-day role, where you are currently at Secro, is what does it look like? Kind of, I appreciate obviously you've been traveling a lot and different customers and events and things. So, what does a typical day look like for you?
Okay, what I'm saying is going to resonate probably with most of the founders and management of startups. The startup life is where you are on the board meeting with your with your investors, and right after you mop the floor and you order coffee, right? So that's the scale of depth and breadth you need to deal with every day. I think that my day starts very early. I usually wake up at 4 a.m., go to prepare breakfast for the kids, leave it there, go to the gym, and then I start to work around 6, and go straight until 5 p.m. I have always a stop hard line at 5 p.m., and I spend time with my family until the kids are to sleep, and then I start to work again until 10, 11. I deal predominantly with, I spend my time predominantly with customers. I have an excellent team that takes care of all the operations and the minutia, and I focus on the strategy of the company and investors. Now, especially now, is a time for investors because we are growing. But I would say majority of the time is with the customers, either in person traveling to Europe where our customers are, or remotely.
Yeah, fascinating. Now, I have a similar sort of structure. I'd say, like my morning, I like to get up early as well, do my bit of exercise before, and then typically, obviously, Europe and the Far East are still online first thing in the morning for us. So, speak to the customers on that side, and then as the US wakes up, you kind of focus on there as well. No, it's been really, really insightful, and really appreciate your time and what you've kind of gone through and things. So, I guess you probably have said there a little bit about the gym, but any other sort of projects or hobbies and things you like to get up to outside of work?
I love to sail. I used to be
Oh, great!
an avid racing sailor, so I
Wow,
did a lot of offshore racing in my life. Now a little bit less. I'm waiting for my kids to start swimming properly and grow up a little bit. They are still 4 and 6, but I want to go back to ocean racing one day, maybe with the family.
amazing. Okay, very cool. Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. So you don't have to tell me now. I was going to say how old your kids are. You don't have to go into that, but like, no, we have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they're just starting to sort of get involved in different sports and things out
Same
here.
age, same age. You so
Oh,
you see
cool.
that is an amazing age, right? But they also have to discover their passions.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Good, good. Okay, well, yeah, thank you so much again. And if I guess if someone would like to reach out to you or perhaps learn a bit more about Secro and the platform, what's the best way for them to get in touch?
So absolutely, I would love to even to talk generally about the digitization in the industry, and if interested in Secro about Secro, my email is ms Mike Sierra at secro.io. And we can also share for sure to your channels the contacts, but I'm available 24/7. And yeah,
Brilliant. Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I think we'll wrap up things there. Hopefully, this was helpful for our listeners. I'm sure it was. And obviously, we'll be airing this episode shortly. But thank you very much, Michele. And it's been a pleasure to speak to you.
thank you, Callum, and what you're doing is amazing. Thank you. You're really giving a great service to the industry with this podcast. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.